Oh, fascinating. Wow. Um, well, it's so exciting for me to talk to a historian as well, because my dad was a history teacher, and so I revel in kind of geek out on these things. But I was thinking as you were talking about New Orleans and New York, uh, in juxtaposition to where I grew up in Detroit, where again you have an immense amount of diversity and various ethnicities, and obviously there's a history of a of a thriving African American population, and yet so much segregation that existed and continues to exist in the Detroit metro area. And I'm just curious to know, what is it that differentiates New Orleans in terms of there seems to be more of a mixing that historically has just been a part of New Orleans culture and society that maybe doesn't translate to other cities where you do see much more of this self-segregation, or not always self-segregation, forced segregation.
Yeah, physically, New Orleans is just a small city because it bends by the river. That's why it's called the Crescent City. So you can't remove yourself from other people. Detroit, before Mr. Ford's auto company really got hold of the city, was a small city and a walking city. And when the Model T came along, it became this expansive city, and a very Ford, in order to control labor unions, wanted it to be a highly segmented city so that ethnic groups would not talk to each other and organize for better wages together. And the Black Southerners who came to Detroit were seen as low-wage threats to the existing order. So you have to see that Ford management also promoting this, and not just individuals not liking each other. And it became, the prevailing order through law and other things. So Detroit is was highly segmented, and hostile to African Americans as an ethnic community equal to their counterparts. And this happened all through the Great Lakes cities: Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, and today what some people call hyper segregation, or so forth. But New Orleans, it attempted to do that, but it was always small. And the South, because of slavery, always had a huge Black population until the Great Migration began. Louisiana was 50% Black at the end of the Civil War. So we forget the sheer population density of African Americans are in the old states of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Imani Perry has a new book about her travels through the South. She teaches at Princeton, and I highly recommend people reading that book.
Great. I was just that it's so fascinating, and I know we're going to be talking about this in our conversation, but how deeply ingrained into the systems this, whether we're talking about segregation, discrimination, but how regularly throughout the course of our country's history we've been disconnected with intention, right? All the way back to Bacon's Rebellion, and thinking about, because of the power in numbers, when you have people who are saying this is not right, and if we actually come together, we could disrupt the system. Well, no, we can't have that, right? How insidious that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if you could speak a little bit to the photo that's behind you, since we're talking about history, and you were sharing with Roger and me a little bit about the origins of that image.
Yeah, this is the first day of the opening of the Audubon Park swimming pool in New Orleans in 1969. It had been shut down because it didn't want to integrate. The city did not want to have the pool integrated from 1962 to 1969. So approximately until I was 12 years old, that pool did not integrate. And even though there were Black children living all around the pool in the uptown neighborhood as their white counterparts, it was deemed for whites only. And to keep it that way, political leaders shut the pool down. When it opened in 69, it was about 90 degrees that day. I was there, and 90 degrees and 90% humidity, typical New Orleans summer day. And you just want to be in a swimming pool on that day and cooling off. And I remember my mother making me really have look like a prep school kid with my iron shirt, shoes on. And I said, Mom, I'm going to a swimming pool, not school, because in those days they had dress codes, but I'm not going to school, I'm going to a swimming pool. But, looking proper and respected with my towel and my little lock for the locker. So it was funny. And then finally, it was so hot. Black kids sat on one side, white kids sat on the side. Finally, so a Black kid jumped in the pool, and then all these kids jumped in the pool. And guess what? Everybody had a good time. Because it was hot, and they had this wonderful slide, and you just wanted to slide in the pool and have fun with your friends. It was the parents who made the big deal out of it for 7 years, and really hurt a lot of people in the process. I mean, it really did more harm than good.
The Culture Stew podcast is a product of MSM Global Consulting and produced by Shelby Rowe Productions. Please give us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform so other people can find us. There are many ways to connect and keep the conversation going with us. Check out our website at www.msmglobalconsulting.com. You can also share your thoughts with us directly by emailing info@msmglobalconsulting.com and putting Culture Stew in the headline. Follow us on Instagram at MSM_global, Facebook at MSM Global Consulting, Twitter at Global MSM, and LinkedIn at MSM Global Consulting. Let's keep the conversation going.